Hi friends! Today we're going to visit one of my favorite antique shops of all time, and it's also the biggest antique store I've ever visited. The building itself is unbelievable. It is a giant warehouse that used to be a furniture factory. And there isn't just one antique store, there's actually 3 antique stores in this warehouse, which has been given the name Antiques Row because they're all in a row. This is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I will show you the other 2 antique stores near the end of the video. I'm making this video under sad circumstances because the warehouse that the antique shops are in is trying to be redeveloped into apartment buildings and 2 giant parking garages that's going to have 600 parking spaces. So literally paving an antique paradise and putting up a parking lot. I want to show you these incredible antique stores to get more eyes on it, and hopefully if you can, make a special trip to visit these places. They're definitely worth it. So let's start our walkthrough. Here's the ginormous warehouse where these antique shops are. It used to be the Sly Furniture Company, which was built in 1880 and closed in 1932 due to the Depression. There's 5 floors and a basement with 3 antique shops inside there now. Our first stop is Warehouse 1, which is chock full of vintage items of all kinds. Whatever you need, it's here. I've been visiting for years, and it's a 30-minute drive from where I live, but it's totally worth the drive. They have 2 floors filled to the brim, and I love to explore the junkie upstairs. You can find decor here, vintage clothing, architectural salvage, linens, furniture, glassware, everything. The current owners have been here for 12 years, but even before they owned it, it was an antique mall. This gorgeous historic building is set to be redeveloped. To quote, the redevelopment plans include 753 apartments, retail space, a cafe, green space, and 2 parking garages containing a combined 614 spaces, end quote. Antique stores hold a lot of local history, and these shops in particular are a big tourist destination for Grand Rapids. You can easily spend hours browsing these huge stores. While I was filming this video, I told one of the employees what I was doing, and he said he knew a bit about the building. Okay, turns out he knew a ton about the building, and he took us on a tour and explained a lot of the history. He asked to not be on camera, which is totally understandable, but I'll show you the things that he pointed out to me on the tour. I'm used to only looking at the antiques, but I've never looked at the building itself. It is listed as a historic building, which does make it trickier to develop. The building has changed hands multiple times because it will be very difficult to make over the warehouse because it's full of lead paint and asbestos, and is listed as industrial, which makes it more difficult to fix it up and get it approved for residential use. The guy who wants to ruin this place and turn it into apartments is named John Gibbs, and the plans he's made to redevelop everything are the furthest any plans have ever gotten. I'll link the article with his plans, which also include a piece about the backlash he's getting for wanting to modernize this piece of history. In the article, he says he's interested in keeping some of the tenants, but even if that would happen, the antique stores would have to close their doors for all the huge renovations, which would be detrimental to the business owners as well as the vendors that sell here. But for now, let's explore this beautiful place while we still can. To start, let's look at some photos of how the building used to look. There are original blueprints, but they're completely changed now because there's been so many renovations and additions over the years. There used to be train tracks that went right up the side of the building, and there are these large bay doors that would open, and on one end, they would unload raw building material to make the furniture, and on the other end, they would load up the train with finished furniture. You can still see the original bay doors still intact on the inside and outside of the building. And here are some photos of some of the furniture that they made. You can still see the door to the old cargo elevator also. The weight of the elevator was straining the roof, so they had to drop it down to the basement, but you can still see the elevator doors and also the giant mechanism that ran it. Our tour guide told me that the basement has no walls and is this vast, cavernous space that looks almost Romanesque. There's a rumor that's not confirmed, but that there are tunnels that run from the Sly building basement to the gypsum mines. The gypsum mines were a huge industry in Grand Rapids where gypsum was used to create plaster. Now the mines are used as dry storage and hold 70% of Michigan County's legal records, and popular Founders Brewery in Grand Rapids stores their beer down in the mines. There's 5 floors, but the top floor is dilapidated, filled with bat poop, and unusable. There's a large hallway in the warehouse that's totally blocked off from customers, but this is the doorway to the hallway. It connects the antique stores and used to connect all the doorways on the first floor of the factory. In another part of the building, there are a bunch of original mahogany offices. There's even a giant boardroom with a huge table. The antique shops use it now as their offices, but it's closed off to customers. Here is the original main entrance, which isn't used anymore. Customers walk in on the side where the trains used to come. You can see all the original marble that was used in the steps and the beautiful mahogany door and trim. You would walk up these steps, and as you can see, there's still the office here where someone would likely greet you. Now let's go to the second floor. This floor is a lot messier and full of junk, which I always like to explore. It's bizarre to think of how I'm walking in here now, shopping for antiques, but 100 years ago, people were in here making a living and building furniture. I say people because men and women worked here. I'll link an article below which has an excerpt from the Grand Rapids Herald newspaper in 1918, which talks about women working in the factory during World War I. Back on the main floor, I want to show you my favorite room. It's unknown what it was used for, but there's tons of windows that indicate that it used to be outdoors, such as an outdoor courtyard that workers would use as a break space to get some fresh air from breathing in all those chemicals they were inhaling throughout the day. This room is my favorite because I love the bricks, and especially the arched bricks on the one end and then the arched green windows too. Alright, that's Warehouse 1. Let's move on to the other two antique stores that are next door. First up is Lost and Found, which has the best selection of vintage furniture I've ever seen in my entire life. There's 2 floors, and the upstairs is by far my favorite. The floors are so creaky upstairs, and the architecture is amazing, especially the giant pillars that run through the middle. They even had some amazing retro lawn furniture, which is my favorite. Look at this flower power detail on this lounger, and then also this beautiful glider. They were discounted, which is super cool. Most of the antique store is a bit pricey for me, to be honest. I buy most of my furniture at flea markets and thrift stores, and so these prices are a little high for me, but if you're looking for something specific, like Austin Powers level cool furniture, then you definitely have to shop here. Like if I was designing a set for a movie that was set in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, I would absolutely shop here because the furniture here is really high quality, it's in very good shape, and it's definitely not furniture that you're gonna find on your everyday trip to the thrift store. Once we're done here, we'll visit our last stop, which is Century Antiques. I love that antique store too, and I've bought quite a few Christmas goodies here when they'll have their Christmas sale. So let's go. And we're back. Wasn't that building incredible? I've always loved visiting the antique shop, but I've never really appreciated the building itself and all the really cool architectural features that are inside the antique shop. So it was really neat to get that tour, and I'm excited I got to share it with you. I did buy one thing at Warehouse 1, and it's a really sad, broken camera bag. I think it is really cute and it deserves to be brought back to life. I'm going to sew a new strap onto it, and it's going to become a purse for me. It's really lightweight, which I like, and it's the perfect size to put in my phone and my wallet. So I can't wait to use this as my new purse. If you'd like to help the antique shops on Antique Road, the best thing you can do is patronize them by shopping at their store. If you can make a special trip to go visit them, I promise you it is worth it. You will enjoy your visit and you will definitely find some treasures. Another thing you can do is follow Save the Sly Building on Facebook. They give updates on what the developers are doing, so I will link that Facebook group below. Would you like to visit these antique shops? shops. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite part of the tour was. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, friends.